What's going on, everybody? It's your boy Zoe with No Days Off DFS here to bring you that WNBA slate breakdown for the three-game, really nice, a truly nice WNBA slate we have tonight. If you guys new here, you guys want to subscribe, make sure you guys hit that subscribe button so you don't miss any of the content I put out here over here on the channel, and drop a like on this video if this video or any of my other videos help you guys win some money. Real quick, let's do a recap. We only had a one-game slate yesterday. It was the Chicago Sky taking on the Connecticut Suns, and honestly, Connecticut Sun, the game was not bad. It was actually a really good game. I give it to them. The Sky, they came out with some aggression. They came out there. They honestly were hanging into this game. Definitely kept it pretty close all throughout the game until it got down to about the fourth quarter. And then that's when we actually got to see the Sun go ahead and pull away, do what we normally see them do. AT went on like a pretty good tier, getting like 6 or 8 points straight. Just constantly going to the paint and just getting in there for him. But really, to me, what stood out and looking on the other side is the game and the way that Angel Reese is playing right now. I know I was pretty critical of her when she came into the league, that kind of figured that she would be undersized, especially if they tried to have her play the center position, which I'm glad that they're not necessarily having her play that. They are having her play more of a 4 role, which I do believe it fits her. It looks good. The rebounding, it definitely did transition from college to what we actually see her playing now in the league. She's rebounding at a tremendous rate. Currently right now, 4 straight games, 4 straight with a double-double. And if you watch the WNBA, you watch the numbers, you watch the stats, especially looking at the rookie class and everything, I currently have her right now beating who everyone wants to be the poster child, who everyone wants to be the face of the WNBA as the rookie of the year. Now, if you want to argue that point, go ahead. We can talk about it down in the comment section. But currently right now, on the team where she's given the production and she is putting up the numbers and she is playing very, very well, Angel Reese is currently beating Caitlin Clark. I'm sorry. It's not. It's close. It can be close because Caitlin, maybe she can go on a string where she puts up some really great games back to back. Get a couple more wins for the Fever. But currently, right now, if I had to submit a ballot today, Reese would actually have it. Reese would get my vote. And of course, my vote doesn't count for anything. But of course, we know it's going to be a popularity thing, and they're going to want to give it to Clark. And if she doesn't get it, it's going to be a whole big shit show in the national media and all this other crap. We're going to hear about the whole racism and all this other extra bullshit. That's exactly what it's going to come down to. And women are hating and all this other crap. But nonetheless, quick rant right there. Pretty good right there to see Cardosa. She finally actually got to play 30 minutes, was off the minutes limit, and looked pretty good. Honestly, she boxes out very well. Her size is great to actually see that out there for her. Good touch around the rim. Definitely love the fact that she can actually knock down some free throws. And then the rebounding was there for her, especially going up against a team that is kind of big in the Sun. Just to see her be able to hold her own and play those 30 minutes, not bad at all. Love what I saw. The 3 blocks, that's pretty good. And she looks very good running up and down the court. So that's definitely a big plus. They do have a very good front court for the future right there in Reese and Cardosa, and it's only going to get better as they continue to play more games together and the team continues to gel. But going ahead, looking over at today's slate, like I said, we have a 3-game slate, pretty good chunk of games on today's slate. Seattle taking on my Dallas Wings. That should be a good game right there. Atlanta taking on the Indiana Fever. Even though we always talk junk about the Fever, it should still be a good game because Atlanta, they're kind of playing very below themselves and what they should be playing so far to start the season. And then last but not least, the Aces, who should snap their losing streak today against the Phoenix Mercury, even though Brittany Griner's back, but hopefully they can actually snap that losing streak that they have. Honestly, there is no news, to report for any of these teams, so I'm not even going to go through game by game for the news. Biggest thing that we would have to worry about is if Chelsea Gray is actually going to be back, but I still doubt that she will be back for today, so I'm not going to worry too much about that. So heading over to DraftKings, the site that I play the most on the site. If you guys don't have an account and you want one, check the link down in the description below so you guys can get that deposit match bonus. Join me over here on the King. And on top of that, if you guys are looking for a player pool, cores, all those things, check the link down below for the Patreon. If you guys have any issues with the Patreon or getting into it, please let me know. Tag me in it. I will go back and forth and figure out what's going on with it. Talk to my boy BK, who also runs the Patreon, and see if we cannot figure out why you cannot get into it. Yesterday, if you guys were able to, I told you guys I posted everything that I had early. For MLB, we smacked our early cash out for DraftKings where they go up by 2 runs promo. Smacked that pretty early. Was good over there on that. And then unfortunately everyone else they took L's. The Sun, they covered their money line and they covered their the game as a whole. But my 2 baseball plays, besides the early play, unfortunately they crashed and burned because Cleveland, they gave up 2 runs, and then same thing, the Phillies, they could not get back in that game, and it was brutal. But Corey, yesterday for WNBA, unfortunately Banham got a DNP that really that killed me right there. Cardoso played pretty good. Bonner, she did all right. That was Corey, and then I even gave you guys a pretty good player pool with some notes going on here for each player. So hopefully you guys were able to actually cash out and do something with that stuff that I gave out on yesterday's notes and everything for that. All right, so going over to starting out, we got Atlanta taking on the Fever. Like I said, I actually do like this game, sitting at a 164 for the total on this game. 2-point spread in favor of Atlanta, so it is expected to be close. Now, the Fever, they do play pretty well at home, so I would imagine that this game should stay close, should be close, and hopefully it won't be any type of blowout or anything crazy from Atlanta. Atlanta's not really in the indie market for blowing out teams, but nonetheless, looking at it, what we have sitting up at top, Ryan looked like she found her footing in that last game, sitting at 10K. The price may seem like it's a little bit up there, but when you look at what she's been priced earlier this season, this is the first time we're getting her at 10K after coming off of a game where she finally was out there getting her shot to fall. 5 of 8, only took 8 shots, but 4 of 7 from 3. That's definitely something that I want to see from someone who I consider to be a dominant scorer and force over here on this team. And now you're going up in what should be arguably your easiest matchup on the season, because who is going to honestly guard Ryan over here? You're going to tell me it's going to be Wallace, Kelsey Mitchell. They play no defense really over here for the Fever. They are still the bottom of the league in regards to defense. And Ryan at 10K, that's really such an amazing spot for her. Good price tag and everything. And considering the fact of we have seen opposing forwards, she's playing the small forward position for them. The opposing forwards, opposing top usage players over there on the opposing team going up against Fever have tremendous games. And at 10K, I love that price tag, love the spot for her. And I don't mind her as a pay-up option if you don't want to go above that 10K threshold range for her. Really good spot for on today. Now, outside of that, I'm going to have to go back to her. Even though she burned me, Tina Charles at 9-2. Again, time and time again, we have seen opposing bigs, opposing centers, opposing power forwards, either or, depending on who actually can go out there and put their stamp on the game, have really well games going up against the Fever. And Tina Charles, I am not scared of Boston going out here against her. I'm not scared of Melissa Smith, who plays very little defense whenever she is actually out there on the court. I'm not scared of this matchup at all whatsoever. And I do believe if I just watch Dolson go out here and drop 34.5 fantasy points going up against this Fever team, Jonquil Jones dropped 46.75. Ezzy dropped 43. Cameron Brink dropping 35. Tina Charles, with the uses that she gets, especially in the first half of games, sitting at 9,200. I believe that Tina Charles can go out here and smash. Now, I understand the market of wanting to come down here, going to Cheyenne, but the minutes is what kills me and what worries me with Cheyenne. Out of her last 5 games, the only game we've had with Cheyenne has popped was going up against her former squad in the Chicago Sky, where she played 25 minutes. Now, I know opposing power forwards have actually done pretty well going up against the Fever, but I'm going to take my chances, and I'm going to play Tina over Cheyenne here on today's spot. That's kind of where I'm leaning at right there. Now, I will say there is some merit into taking maybe a GPP stand. Maybe it could actually be Cheyenne going out here and just balls to the wall and actually having a pretty good game. Looking at what she did versus the Fever last year, she played very, very well. Very well. She killed them last year with no game less than 30 fantasy points versus them. So, again, definitely some merit, possibly going to Cheyenne Parker. Save you a little bit of salary and coming off of Tina. But it's just the usage and what I'm seeing in regards to Cheyenne. It doesn't give me the good feels. And outside of all her games, she really hasn't played more than 25, 26 minutes, except for that one game where Tina got into foul trouble or something like that. Other than that, she's just very But I definitely do think the GPP upside for going to Cheyenne over Tina is there, but not something that I'm too heavy on. Outside of that, Alicia Gray, you could definitely mess with that. Good spot. It's a good spot for the whole starting 5. And then, of course, Aerial Powers off the bench. We know the usage will be there. We know she's going to play at least close to about 15, 20-ish minutes. And the upside, definitely a fast-paced back-and-forth game. It suits Aerial Powers for what she actually brings to the table. Outside of that, Hillman, Jones, Dangerfield, Coffee, I'm still not going to touch them. It's like playing Russian roulette, trying to figure out who's going to go off on this bench. Last game, Nas Hillman comes in here, and she just, no, it wasn't Nas. I think it was actually, was it Coffee? was Coffee's birthday, wasn't it? Yeah, Coffee. It was Coffee's birthday, and they ran Coffee over Nas. They ran Coffee over someone else, and Coffee went out here and she balled. So again, it's such a Russian roulette. I'm not gonna mess with it. Of course, you can go to Dangerfield because we know she will play minutes and she'll be out there. If you want to take a option at a punt, but I'm not gonna go there. I really don't want to mess with that. It's really just the starters over here for me when it comes down to it. Over here on Indy, I'm gonna be very straightforward. It's just Caitlin Clark is the main one that I want to get to. The defense of the Atlanta does not scare me, especially after I just watched Sykes and Atkins just light them up, especially from three. And that's one of the things that we know Clark, she's going to go out here. She's going to take a shit ton of threes. She's going to go out here and try to put the bad taste that was in her mouth from that Connecticut Sun game behind her. And the defensive matchup going into this is actually pretty decent for her. Alicia Gray is a good defender in all her right, but unless she's going to pick Clark up once she steps over half the court, I'm not scared. I do believe this could be one of those where we watched where she versus the Washington Mystics and she played pretty much the whole game and popped off out there. Maybe not the 4 steals, a couple of steals. I'll give her 2, but the assists should be there. I would expect about 8, maybe about 4 rebounds. But the points is realistically what I'm expecting for her to go out here and hammer away in this matchup and in this game. Love the upside for her here in this game, and 200 less than Ryan. You definitely can come down and go over here to that side and get that. The upside is honestly just tremendous for her. Like I said, Atkins, we just saw her drop 37.5 fantasy points, and Sykes, she just dropped 29 in minutes, in limited minutes. Sabrina Ionescu dropped 27.75, Jackie Young 30, Carrington 26. So the upside for opposing guards that handle the rock and lead the offense is very well. Boston, Smith, all GPP options. Same thing for Mitchell, Wallace. They will all be GPP. Main one I want to focus on will be Clark. If I'm going out here for 8-9 for Boston, I'll just find the salary I need to get up to Tina Charles. 8-2 for Nilissa Smith. I would just rather go ahead and just find my way to play. Maybe just take a chance on Cheyenne Parker, which the more I talk about it, the more I'm looking at maybe I might just take a chance on Cheyenne and get different somewhere else in my line. Right there. But I really, really, really do love the upside for Tina Charles. Going over here to Seattle, taking on the Dallas Wings. As you can see, the cover picture, the cover photo, it is true. It is real. It is the girl SDS going back, playing what I would consider home against the Dallas Wings. And if you look at it, I know it was 2 years ago, but she played very well going up against Dallas in every game that she has played going up against us. Again, the shot is falling, the stroke is there, the playmaking is there, stat sheet stuffer. Dallas, it looks like we've taken a step back in our defense from years past. So definitely something to note right there. But the upside 9-4 versus paying 10-5 for Jewel Lloyd. I understand Jewel Lloyd, she has the usage. She can definitely pop off and do it. But the savings that I can just come down and get to Skylar Diggins-Smith at 9-4, I'm going to take Skylar every day of the week when it comes down to it. NECA and Ezzy, I'll say NECA should have the much easier matchup going up against Billings. She should be able to bully her, get her way out there and whatnot. She did just drop 41.5 fantasy points against the LA Sparks. So the upside for NECA, definitely there, as long as that shot is actually falling. Ezzy, block upside, things like that. Don't mind looking at her as well. If you want to come off, you feel like NECA might be more owned. Coming down here to Ezzy, I will say they've just been flip-flopping in regards to pricing. But main stable for me will be Skylar Diggins-Smith from here. Jewel Lloyd as a GPP option. NECA, I feel like, will be safer over Ezzy. Ezzy for the GPP upside. Everyone else over here, Horston, Sammy, Vivians, Russell, Holmes, not really messing with any of these guys over here. I don't think there's too much value. I can look at Horston will be maybe the main staple who I always end up coming back to if I want to mess with someone over here that I feel like can have the upside. But other than that, not really looking too deep on that side of anything. Going over to the other side, though, on the Dallas Wings, Enrique, enough said, 11-2, highest price, one of the highest price players on today's slate, besides Asia Wilson. If you feel like you need to go there for 11-2, Enrique, who kind of to me is capped at what she would have to drop 60 for me to justify paying that price. I'm not going to pay Enrique at 11-2. I understand the usage is there. She can pop, but I have Skylar. I have Cloud. I have Jackie Young if she's truly off a minutes limit and playing good. I have Kelsey Plum. I got Howard. I got Clark. I have all these other guards who can put up arguably just as good of a fantasy point productive point and in good spots over Enrique. I don't see the need to get up there to that. Now, outside of that, Monique Billings, Tierra McCowan, Maddie Uzan, All of them are in play, but the main one that sticks out, and I always find myself, I might be just a sucker for it, but I always find myself going right back to Mo Billings. 47 minutes in that last game. It was a double overtime game. Dropped 31.25 fantasy points, 10 points, 11 rebounds. That's one thing that she's going to do. She's going to go out there and give you the energy. Honestly, wish she was able to take more shots. I don't know why she didn't actually get up to double-digit shot attempts in a double overtime game. Really frustrating because this fantasy number could have been into the 45-ish range for her. But nonetheless, I do like her here. Opposing power forwards have actually played well going up against NECA. I'm not saying that NECA's bad on defense, but I just watched Hamby drop 39 fantasy points going up against her, and Hamby and Billings are pretty much the exact same player to me. Both Energizer Bunnies, going to run up and down the court, do everything in regards to just if the ball touches your hands, I'm going to go and try to get a bucket. If I can get the rebound, I'm going to get the rebound. If I can push out, get an assist, I'm going to do that. I'm going to play defense. So Billings at 8'7". I like it. I actually like her here, and I wouldn't mind doing a run back of Billings and Skylar Diggins-Smith, taken as the main two from this game. Do love the upside for both of them here. And then Big T, she's playing well. She's getting her minutes. She's seen 30 minutes in 3 straight games. Again, going up against Ezzy, I'm not going to say she's going to go out here and have a bad game. By any means, she should actually be able to rebound very well in this spot going up against them, be able to do whatever it is that she actually wants to do versus this matchup. Last season, going up against them, she was a fantasy point per minute producer in both games, 27 and 33 fantasy points. And again, if she's going to actually play about 30 minutes, I don't mind going to Big T at all as a possible play. I just kind of don't see myself going there unless I truly, truly need to and have to. I'm really kind of landing on looking at going with Mo Billings over Tierra today. Maddie, GPP option. If you feel like her shot's actually going to fall, I'm not going to go there to Maddie. 5 of 13 really was a letdown. Honestly, expected more from Maddie in that last game right there. And then Uzan, again, we already know if she actually can knock down her shots, she can do everything else on the court. She's going to play, but not really going there for her as well. I don't value today, I'm going to say it, is very scarce. It is very scarce for the value, like value that you can feel comfortable in. All right, going over to the Las Vegas Aces taking on the Phoenix Mercury. First thing that sticks out, A'ja Wilson, 12-3. They have lost 3 straight games in a row. Chelsea Gray, we don't know if she's going to actually be back today. I know that they are still working her back. If Gray is back, that might mess with a little something. We would just expect the guard rotation to shake up. I would expect Clark to go back to the bench. Maybe they wouldn't start Chelsea Gray. There's no telling, but that's definitely some news to pay attention to right there for if Gray will be in or out. Unfortunately, this is the last game of the slate. Maybe we might get a midday update in regards to Gray, but I doubt that we will actually have that or anything. First 2 games start at 7, last game is at 10, so that's where that's going to be at. But A'ja Wilson, if you can fit up to her, you can get up to her. We already know she's high usage. Not scared of Rebecca Allen, not scared of Cunningham. I understand Brittany Griner's there, but she's going to spend maybe not even half of her possessions dealing with Brittany, because they're going to constantly have Stokes out there, and then if they don't have Stokes, they're going to have Megan out there. I'm not too worried in regards to A'ja being able to go out there and do what she has to do at 12-3. Should be a decent spot for A'ja at the 12-3 price tag. But again, kind of like with the last game where we had A'ja and we had Fee, I don't feel like I have to pay up for either one of those guys on today's slate. I will say Jackie Young being dropped down to 8-8. I have some interest, but she doesn't look like she's truly 100%. She still looks like she's a little sluggish, tired, look like she still might be sick. So I'm not going to go there for Jackie. If she goes out here and she has a tremendous game, I'll let it burn me. But I can't pay that right now at 8-8. I'll say if you're making multiple lineups, maybe you're maxing the $1 and the 20 entries or something like that, definitely go ahead. Mess with that Jackie Young. That makes sense. But right now for me, it's going to be a no in regards to planting a flag and trying to even go there and mess with that on today's slate. Right there. Same thing for Kelsey Plum. I really don't like her here in this spot. I feel like there's some other spots that I can go to, some other players that really interest me right around that price tag. Like I said, I have Clark, who's over here on today's slate. We can go with Ryan Howard, things like that. So really no need to go there. I will say Tiffany Hayes, if Gray is still out, she's still going to see at least 20-ish minutes. If you're wanting to get one of these guards over here from the Aces, definitely just come down and play Tiffany Hayes. Pretty safe. If she actually can pop, go out here and rock out, she can get you at least about 25, close to 30 fantasy points if she actually has a good game. Other than that, the only player that truly sticks out to me as a possible value play that I would consider will be Megan. Megan on today's slate, I just think that the starting lineup needs to shake up. or Megan needs more minutes. She played 14 minutes in the last game, 4 of 5 from the field, 2 of 3 from 3. She is playing her former team in the Phoenix Mercury. That's one thing definitely to note as well. And hopefully that shooter's touch, that shot can follow. 16.75 fantasy points at 3.9. I will take my chances there with Megan. Megan is literally just the player that I am looking to as possible value. I'm not going to mess with Cannon, not going to mess with the blowout queens. They can stay right there on the bench. But Megan, if you want to mess with Kate Martin, if there is still no Chelsea Gray, that's another one you can go to. But Megan will be just as low as I would go over here. Not really too interested in too much from the aces. But on the Phoenix Mercury side, I am definitely interested in Copper, Griner, Cloud, sprinkle of Diana Taurasi. I will say that this matchup for Cloud at 8-5. So you're looking at Jackie Young. You can come down and play Cloud, who has targets in Brittany Griner, who she can get the ball to. Granted, she hasn't taken big shots with Griner being back, but the upside for her here, for if she decides that she wants to, and the defense that she's going to play, the playmaking, again, it always just comes down to if Cloud hits her shots, she will put up a big fantasy point production. Love the upside for Cloud here. We've seen opposing point guards, and everyone going up against the Aces actually have some pretty stellar games, putting up some good fantasy numbers versus them. And just looking at it, Cloud and her predecessors that have come, McBride and Courtney Williams, just both went off for 30-plus fantasy points in the spot. And Courtney Williams kind of plays the exact same way as Cloud in regards to playmaking, facilitating, can grab some rebounds, play defense, and score about 10 to 15 points if need be. Lloyd dropped 39. Arika dropped 53. Alicia Gray dropped 36. So I definitely do feel at 8-5, she can go out here and get me 30-plus fantasy points. Love the upside for her here. Really don't mind it at all whatsoever. But if you can't get up to her, Diana Taurasi, definitely a GPP option. Turn back the clock, played heavy minutes in that last game. The upside for DT definitely will be there for her. Don't mind going to her as well as a possible play if you have to come down from Cloud. Granted, it is only $100 less that you can come down to, but worth looking and worth noting too. Brittany Griner finally getting priced up. 9K, dropped 46.25 fantasy points in that last game. I'm not gonna say she's playing big minutes. I didn't expect her to play the whole double overtime, but she did. She played the whole thing. Went out there, was running up and down, trying to do what she could do. I'm not gonna say it's a bad spot for Brittany Griner. We have seen opposing centers actually have pretty good games going up against Kia Stokes. And, of course, if they put Megan's going to be outside. She should be able to grab her rebounds. Doing a little bit of getting some assists, the blocks. She doesn't look too fatigued out there. 24 points in that last game. Again, double overtime. So I don't mind going to Brittany at the 9K price tag if you want to come up off of like a Tina Charles or something like that. That's definitely a solid option to go to. Not saying she is a must play, but definitely something worth considering on today's slate. But all right, that's going to do it for the breakdown for everything. I will give you guys a free ticket if you guys are wanting to use over here on PrizePicks. If you guys don't got an account, check the link down in the description below so you guys can get the deposit match bonus on PrizePicks. But I have some first half plays that I actually do like and feel like there's some upside for them on today. Really kind of going to focus more on just some first half plays because full games have been burning me over here on PrizePicks. So gonna mess with the first half plays. Skylar Diggins-Smith going up against former team, 15.5 fantasy points. That should be a no-brainer. Too easy for her in regards to what she can go out here and do, especially if the shot is falling and she can get at least about 3 to 4 assists. Well, I'll give her 3 assists in that first half. The upside is definitely there for her. Brittany Griner, they look to her. They are force-feeding her. They are trying to get her very involved at the start of games. 8.5 points. She's gone over that in both of her games that she has played so far this season. So I do like the upside for her here. Do not mind that at all. Caitlin Clark, I've already talked about it. This is a bounce back spot, a bounce back game in position for her going up against the Atlanta Dream. And if they are going to actually let her play the whole game or just play heavy minutes, unlike what they did where they pulled starters in the beginning of the third quarter in the last game, then she's going to be out there for majority of the first half. So the upside is definitely there for her to get that 17 fantasy score or more. And then same thing for Tina Charles, 15.5. Originally had her PRA, but it's been getting bumped up. So the 15.5, again, same thing. Tina is more active in the first half of games over the second half, and we've seen it time and time again where she's dropped at least 20-plus fantasy points in the first half of games. The matchup is juicy for Tina. Love the upside, love this position and spot for her, and definitely probably out of all of these is my favorite play to take over here on PrizePicks, just for the upside. All right, guys, that's gonna do it for me. Hopefully you guys were able to get something from this video. Again, hopefully I got mixed comments yesterday on the volume, but at least enough people can actually hear me. Again, I am eating my mic. I am yelling into the mic. But again, have a good day, guys. Good luck. Cash out. If you guys are looking for player pool, of course, all that, link down in the description below. Subscribe if you haven't. Peace.